So we have made it to the last task that we need to accomplish today. Take a look at these input-output tables and what are you noticing about them? Maybe you're noticing that we have nothing blank. No values are missing. The inputs are all there. The outputs are all there. So what does that leave for us to do? Well, we need to write the equation. We need to figure out how did the inputs, the x's, turn into the outputs. And we need to represent that using our equation. Now, one thing, my darlings, that it should be an automatic for you by now is you know that our equation is always going to start with a y on the left. So anytime I give you an input-output table and I ask you to write an equation, you know for sure you're going to start that equation with y equals. Both of these, I've already got it up there. I know that's the form my equation needs to be in. So that leaves the right side of my equation, and that means I need to figure out first what's happening to my x to turn it into my y, or what's happening to my input to turn it into my output. Then I have to figure out how can I represent that by writing the rest of my equation. So let's get started here with my table on the left. I see I have an input of 12 and 12 turned into 18. So it's getting bigger. So something that's happening to it is causing it to get bigger. That pretty much eliminates subtraction and division. So I'm going to cross those off of my list up here. Hopefully you agree that when a value gets bigger, I'm either going to be adding to it to make it get bigger, or I'm going to be multiplying it by something to make it get bigger. So let's test adding. If I take 12 and I turn it into 18, did I add something to it? Well, I did. I added 6. So I'm going to make a note for myself that I added 6. For that to be the rule for our whole table, that means that has to work for every input and output that I have in my table. So let's test it. If I start with 25, can I use that same rule of adding 6 to turn it into 31? And actually, yes, I can. 25 plus 6 does equal 31. What about 38? If I take 38 and I add my 6, does that give me 44? Yes, it does. And 42 plus 6 gives me 48. 50 plus 6 gives me 56. So I have found the rule for my input-output table, and it is add 6. Well, what am I adding 6 to? Remember, we're showing what's happening to x. So that is going to help us with the rest of our equation. We need to show that x starts out and then gets added by 6. So my equation y equals x plus 6 represents what's happening on this table for each input and output. I'm going to head over to the table on the right. Again, I see that I have smaller inputs turning into bigger outputs. So again, I see that I am either going to be adding or multiplying. I'm not subtracting or dividing. That could be a possibility. It just is not a possibility for this particular table. So let's figure out. Let's test adding first. If I start with 0, what would I need to add to turn it into 5? Well, I would need to add 5. If that is the rule, adding 5, then that has to happen to turn every single one of my inputs into the output. So does that work for all the rest of them? If I write add 5, does 1 plus 5 equal 9? No, it does not. Does 2 plus 5 equal 13? No, it does not. So I have just eliminated addition. I know that adding is not what I need to do in this case. So I better erase my adding 5 because that is not the rule. So if we're not adding, then that leaves multiplication as the correct operation. I do want to remind you that sometimes it takes 2 steps or 2 different operations to turn our input into our output. So we might have to start with multiplying and then do something else to get to our final output. So I'm going to actually go down and start with a 1 and see what I can do to turn it into 9. Now let me remind you, whatever we choose to do with our 1, we're going to have to do it to every one of our input values. So I can multiply 1 times 9 and turn it into 9. But would that work for the rest? Is 2 times 9 13? No, it is not. So as a reminder, we might have to do more than one step. Remember, in a couple of your input-output tables that you filled out, you had to multiply and then add something on, or multiply and then subtract something. So I'm going to get rid of my times 9, erase those away, and we're going to try something else. How else could I multiply 1 times something, get it close to 9, or turn it into something bigger and then add to get the rest of the way? I chose this particular table because it's one of the harder ones. As you're getting started, I would not have given you this on your own, but I want you to see if you can understand this pattern. If I take 1 and I multiply 1 times 4, that's 4. What would I have to do to get it the rest of the way to 9? Well, I would have to add 5. Would that work if I did the same thing to the input of 2? If I did 2 times 4, that's 8, and then added 5, yep, that would turn it into 13. Does it work for 3? 3 times 4 gets me to 12, and then add 5 gets me to 17. 4 times 4 plus 5 equals 21. That's 16 plus 5. You may, as you're working through these, need to do a guess and check and trial and error. That means you might have to try a couple different versions until you find it, and that is perfectly fine. Do not expect to come up with the rule the first time on every table. And now that I figured out my rule is multiply by 4 and then add 5, I have to represent that here in my equation. So how can I show that x is being multiplied by 4? Hopefully by now, my algebra students, you are coming up with a coefficient of 4 in front of the x, shows that we're multiplying x times 4 or 4 times x. And then remember, we have to take that second step of adding 5. So this equation, 4y equals 4x plus 5, says that we're going to take our x, our input, multiply by 4, and then add 5 to turn it into our y.